in the early 1970s. Ballymun was an experiment, so it was a high-rise development. I think there was about 38 high-rise tower blocks. Ballymun didn't work very well, and after Ballymun they built Darndale, which was also a bit of a social experiment. Anyway, Darndale was based on the sort of the Radburn housing concept, which is this idea that started in America around the 1920s, that you would build a pedestrianised housing estate.
Darndale, when you had your Sunday dinner, it was open the cooker and dip your dinner next door. Oh yeah. Only family house was that?
I'm Taryn DeVere. I am the Artistic Coordinator for Creative Places Darndale. Creative Places Darndale is an Arts Council funded organisation, and we also receive funding from Dublin City Arts Office. And we put in a proposal to run an event for the International Social Housing Festival, where we wanted to bring delegates, international delegates from the city centre where the conference is happening out to a site visit in Darndale so that they could go on an interactive creative tour of the estate and hear from people who live here and learn a bit about the history and the culture in this particular area, because it's a really interesting social housing experiment. It started as an experiment and it changed and evolved over the years, and it's actually in its 50-year anniversary of the Darndale estate this year. So we were delighted to have people attending.
First thing actually I'm going to do is I'm going to read a piece from an essay that was written in 1991 about what Darndale was like first, and it's called Deck Chairs in Darndale. It's part of a book called Invisible Dublin, a journey through Dublin suburbs that a guy called Dermot Balder got together with a few different writers. So this woman, Aileen wrote this essay. She was a journalist with the Tribune, Sunday Tribune. So when residents wanted to grow a few flowers in the inches of space at the front of their houses, because you remember the houses were kind of in courts mostly, and there was very little
1.5 feet.
Yes. They were told it would interfere with cleaning underground pipes. They named the 5 parts of Darndale that met in the centre after 5 flowers: Tulip Court, Primrose Grove, Snowdrop Walk, Buttercup Park and Marigold Court. As one local put it, the only flowers in Darndale are the flowers in the names. And because of the failure to construct soft landscaping and give the tenants permission to grow their own small gardens, the place became a sea of concrete, the opposite of what was intended. So residents surveyed about their views about landscaping and improving the area said they were very interested in seeing plants and shrubs in the areas provided in the plan. But the areas around the courtyards, which were originally intended for planting, were filled in with concrete. There were play areas assigned for children, but few facilities were made available. It was a very young population that were initially settled here. By 1979, 4,500 people lived here. The highest number of residents was in the 20 to 35 age group, and the second highest was in the 0 to 5 age group. People with low incomes, cut off from their natural hinterland, were placed in a severely deprived environment with few services, bad public transport, cut off from other housing by a big industrial estate, that's Greencastle, off the main road, feeling increasingly isolated and ignored. And that was the late 1980s, and that was before they decided that something had to be done and they made the big changes.
And just think about how they could sort of improve the estate, basically. So one of the big ideas they had was that they would do a redesign. So there was lots of meetings, and they got various politicians and people like that on board. So in the 1980s, 1985 to 5? Yeah, it took 10 years anyway. But they changed around the houses. So they moved the front doors to the back and the back to the front.
Hold on, I just like to point out.
Tell me now.
They put the front house with the porches on it. That's your back. This was the back of the house.
So these are the original.
And the other house on the other side was no change. You had the door. Step out into your
So
all
some
of a garden.
houses they changed and some houses they didn't
Exactly,
change.
yeah.
Okay.
But I'd be well off to get the other one changed.
So
Well, anyway.
these would have been, so the idea was that you drive into your back, was
Exactly,
it?
yes.
Okay, so you come drive into your back, go in your back door,
Yeah.
but then when you go out your front door you've got
A wall.
a wall, okay.
You got a wall. 8 feet from your wall.
8 feet away you've got a wall.
And if you want to put flowers in it, you have to wait till the sun was going down in the evening to get sunlight to hit the, hit the wall.
Okay, because the wall is taking all your sun. Okay.
Between the front and the back.
Okay.
There's no way. And then, of course, they come up with the parade eyes of all the trees. Yeah. We got them for nothing. They planted them.
They're gorgeous, the trees, are lovely.
Yeah, most of joking me.
Right?
They all stay above ground.
Okay,
There's no roots on them because underneath all the here is all building
okay.
stuff. So they couldn't get down under the things wouldn't go down. So they go up. Yeah. And then every now and then you hear click and the bleeding trees over in the ground.
They fall over because.
It must be joke. You stand out here in the hurricane.
Okay, you are.
Well, I'm lead artist on this, which basically means that I wrote the proposal, then Taryn and myself wrote the proposal. Then we designed and decided what was going to be done. I then took over the research and researched all of this. Got to talk with people from the area, which was actually wonderful because that's what brings the place alive. Provided all the art materials and a kind of an art piece to go with it. Led the walk around Darndale today.
Big development around here at all. It was only from the 1950s onwards that people were really, there was a lot of housing estates built in North Dublin. So in Darndale there was a big estate house called Darndale House. And we were looking on old maps and Aileen found that the Gate Lodge was here and we think the actual house itself was further back on what's now a big busy road. It's like a big dual carriageway, but that's where the big house was located. But again, it was the area was inhabited by very rich people in large houses with a lot of land.
No sense.
And that's a lot of that to do with Ireland, the rest of Ireland's history in terms of land.
And we have the Malahide Road there.
Yeah,
And
so
what
the
about
Malahide Road. So that's an ancient road. The Malahide Road has been there for ages. It goes to Tara. So I don't know if you've heard of Tara. It used to be the capital, I guess, of Ireland. In pagan times.
Yeah, we're talking very long time
like
ago.
medieval kind of pagan times. It would have been
Before the British came.
Oh, way before. Yeah. Yeah.
So
and again,
here.
the estate houses. So the people who lived in the big houses. So for example, in Darndale House, they would build a bit of the road, and then they would charge a toll. So anyone coming down the road would have to pay a toll to the local landowner.
feedback today was really positive. The delegates, the participants, they actually really seemed to enjoy it. They got right into it. They were especially fascinated by the different stories that Richie and Sue told them as we were going around. But they also really appreciated Katie's input as a historian and giving them snippets about first how the estate developed and why it was built as it was, and also where the ground on which the estate was built, because having a sense of place is so important to all of us. And while we might be standing in this building here now, which is just 20 years old, we kind of understand as well too that there's layers of history that go down, right down beneath us. And that's important.